80% of people say they want to write a book, but only 3% of people actually finish it. Defy the odds. Do it.
That was local author AD Lynn sharing her encouraging advice to anyone on their writing journey. Stay tuned to hear more about her experience as a writer on Pages and Voices. I'm your host, Meg Bell. We'll be back after the intro. Welcome to Pages and Voices, the local author podcast, sponsored by the Allen County Public Library. This podcast is dedicated to featuring the works of talented authors within our community. Good afternoon. This is Pages and Voices, and I'm your host, Meg Bell. Today's author guest is AD Lynn, author of the Harrison University series, which includes 3 books, Taking the Shot, Making the Play, and Facing the Line. Audrey has loved reading since she first learned how, and writing books has always been her dream. Before taking the plunge with her first novel, she was a high school history teacher. She's married to a very handsome accountant, and she's the mother of 2 adorable girls. When she's not typing furiously on her next story, she can usually be found reading, crocheting, or watching baseball. She resides in Indiana. Audrey, thank you for joining us on Pages and Voices today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Like all our guests, you're going to share a brief reading with us today, but before you do, let me tell listeners about the second book in your series, Making the Play. I had to read the second book in the series because the first book was continuously checked out and I couldn't get my hands on it. So, Making the Play. Hockey is life. That's Hunter Thompson's motto. With a dad who played in the NHL and an NCAA championship fresh under his belt, a future in professional hockey is all he wants. But he defers it for his senior year to play with the Griffins one last season. He doesn't expect to get distracted by the team's gorgeous new social media coordinator. Positive and upbeat, she's everything he doesn't need right now. When his season doesn't go as planned, will he make the right play? Family is number 1. That's Natalie Rios' top priority. She's at Harrison to get her degree and secure their future. But when they must replace the roof, she needs a new job immediately. She knows nothing about hockey, but thanks to her fashion blog, she's a shoo-in for the social media coordinator role. It's a great fit, except for the grumpy team captain, who makes her job more difficult with every slash of his stick. When she sees him for who he truly is, will she let him in? Between bus rides, interviews, and hockey games, their growing attraction threatens everything they've built. When the unthinkable happens, is their love strong enough to survive? Audrey, you're up.
All right, I'm going to read from the first chapter, and it's from Natalie's point of view. A car slamming into my face at 6 a.m. is not how I planned on starting my day. I lie in my twin bed in my childhood bedroom and ignore it. Maybe he'll go back to sleep. Vroom, vroom. My nephew's Matchbox car tickles my forehead again. Ah! With a playful shout, I sit up and start tickling him. His little belly contracts under my fingers as he giggles. Say the magic words and the tickle torture stops. Aunt Natty smells like stinky socks, he yells, squealing with delight. No, those aren't the magic words. I tickle relentlessly, trying to get to the backs of his knees, the sweet spot. Aunt Natty eats boogers. His grin threatened to split his face in 2. Even if it's early, it's a fun way to wake up. At 4, Jace is probably my favorite person on earth. How could you forget the magic words? Aunt Natty is amazing. How hard is that to say? All you have to do is... But I stop talking as my foot encounters a wet spot in my bed. Uh-oh. I let go of Jace and scramble away from it. Buddy, I won't be mad, but did you wet the bed? His face screws up in horror, eyes flashing with indignation. No, I'm too big for that. Then why is the bed wet? I pat the sheets, and yeah, they're damp. I take an experimental sniff, but the sharp tang of urine doesn't hit my nose. Small mercies, at least. Did you spill your sippy cup again? Nope. He points to it on my nightstand, covered in Paw Patrol characters, lid in place. Then what? It's dripping. He points to the ceiling. It's hard to tell through the weak morning sunlight that peeks in around the gap in my broken blinds, but it looks like there's a darker patch right above my foot and, yep, another drop lands on my leg. Lightning quick, I stand up on the bed. This doesn't mean you're allowed to do this, I tell Jace, pointing my finger. His brown eyes, the same shade as mine, track my inspection. Peering up in the dim light, I stretch my 5-foot 10-inch frame and inspect it. The plaster is puckered and water gathers like a stalagmite. Or is it a stalactite? I can't remember the difference. I guess that's why I'm majoring in business, not something useless like geology. If I really need to know, I can Google it. Right now, I'm more interested in what's going on and how to fix it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed your book. It's a carefully crafted HEA with strong female characters. Natalie, and how she doesn't back down from overbearing men. That's peppered with lots of pop culture references. As I mentioned earlier, I had to read the second one in the series because the first one was and is checked out. No matter, the books center around a hockey team, the Griffins, who play for Harrison University, a fictional college located in Lafayette, Indiana. Each book is a different player on the team and a relationship that develops alongside that. The stories are connected, from what I could tell, but they are standalone books. So it's not necessarily, you don't need to necessarily read one to read the others. So Audrey, can you tell listeners when the idea for writing these books first popped in your head?
Yeah, I think I've always looked at situations and imagined stories in my mind. But for these particular ones on paper, I joined an online book club during COVID and discovered hockey romances. We read one and I was instantly hooked. I wanted more, and eventually I got to the point where I decided that I might have to write one to get the story that I wanted to read, since I couldn't quite find what I wanted anywhere.
Okay. That's interesting. Can I ask what book you read that got you interested in hockey romance?
Yeah, it's called The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and it's probably one of the most famous ones. So I read all of her books, and I just dove right in, and I just couldn't get enough.
Okay. So did you like hockey before you started writing about hockey?
Yeah, I'm a hockey fan. Actually, my husband introduced me to hockey, and he took me to my first hockey game. It was our second date. He took me to a Comets game here in Fort Wayne.
Yes.
Although I would say that I'm a bigger baseball fan. He's more the hockey fan, and I'm a baseball fan. But we are a big sports family at our house.
So do you still frequent the hockey games?
Oh yeah, we love the Comets.
Yeah.
We go to a couple games every year.
Sure. So before you wrote these stories, had you written anything else?
I dabbled in a little bit of fan fiction, actually, because that's a really fun arena to play around in. I learned a lot about a story structure there and dialogue, because you already have established characters, so you can kind of think about how they would sound and things like that.
What fan fiction did you base your stories on?
Veronica Mars. I don't know if you know that TV show, but really fun characters there, and some good things that needed some fixing.
I see. Okay. So when did you decide I am going to do this? I'm going to write this book.
Yeah.
Or write
So
these books?
So my COVID book club kind of morphed into a writing group, because we started out reading, and then we were like, well, what if we tried a little bit of writing? And I had written some sports romance stories as some fan fiction and shared it for fun with that group. And one of the members in the book club / writing group said to me, she said, I just read the #1 sports romance on Amazon, and she said, you can do better.
That's a huge compliment. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I said, okay.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, that was apparently all I needed to hear. And then I kind of, freaked out and said, I can't do that. But
I know. I understand.
Yeah. But the amazing thing was that friend still kind of held my hand through everything. She recommended some great resources, and she is still one of the first people to read my stories and give me feedback. So she's still a part of the process.
Okay. That's great. So what did it look like when you began to write your stories?
Okay, so I was actually going to write a baseball romance set in Fort Wayne, which I'd still like to do, by the way.
That, right?
Yeah.
So
and
your follow-up series?
Yeah. But when I actually sat down and put pen to paper, or fingers to the keyboard, I suppose, what came out was a college hockey romance. And when I pictured a college town, the only place I could think of was Lafayette. My husband is a Purdue grad.
Oh, okay.
And after he graduated, we actually lived in Lafayette for 15 years. So we're really happy to be back in Fort Wayne, where our roots are. But Lafayette will always have a really special place in our hearts. And since we were there for 15 years, kind of in that college atmosphere, I just always see that in my head when we think of a college town. So I planned on a baseball romance here in Fort Wayne, but that's not what came out.
Okay.
Right?
Well, that's all right. This works. This is great. I love it. So I don't think this question is on my list, but something you just said. So you've written 3 books since 2020. So you've really just been pushing these out.
Yeah. I just kind of got inspired.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So were there any resources you found helpful during the writing process?
Yeah. So I mentioned my friend who said, you can do this. She recommended a book, and it's called From Blank Page to Final Draft. It's by an author. Her name is Bryn Donovan. And it's more of a general resource book about writing a book. It kind of lays out a plan, gives you a bunch of steps to follow if you want to write a book in a year. And I love checklists. I love things like that. I kind of like people telling me what to do. Here's your homework, things like that. So I found that one to be really helpful. Again, having no experience whatsoever. I've never taken a creative writing class. I don't have a degree in this or anything. So I really liked that. That was very helpful for me. The other one that I found invaluable is called Romancing the Beat. And it's by Gwen Hayes. It's almost like a pamphlet. It's a very tiny, short little book, but it was specifically about the story structure for a romance novel, because I think romances are a little bit different than perhaps like Save the Cat or Take Off Your Pants if you're into different story structure books.
Okay. Second title.
Yeah.
You know what kind of book you're writing.
Yeah.
With that one.
There's this kind of theory in writing. You're either a plotter or you're a pantser. And I tend to be a pantser, which is funny because I'm very type A, but apparently my creative brain
Works a little
doesn't
differently.
work that way, but I want an outline because that makes me more comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I tried this book one time that was called Take Off Your Pants, Stop Being a Pantser, basically was the idea. But even that,
title.
right? I remembered it. But even that didn't work for me. But I really liked Romancing the Beat because it was all about kind of these emotional beats that you need to hit in a romance. And a lot of times in a romance, there's more than one main character. And so you're kind of working through both of those things. And a lot of times the plot points are more about kind of the emotional things that need to happen, not just like the hero's journey type of thing that you might get in a high fantasy or something like that. It's about putting characters in situations that are going to kind of push their emotional buttons. So I go back and refer to that one every book I write just to make sure that I'm really hitting those kind of points. So
and this is Romancing the Beat.
Yes.
You always consult.
Yes. I just think it was the one that kind of opened the door for me mentally to say, oh yeah, it all just kind of clicked when I read that book.
Sure.
So,
okay.
yeah.
So are your books self-published?
They are.
Okay. Why did you choose that route?
So I set a goal to have my first book published by my 40th birthday. And then I was just super motivated to hit that goal. And I wrote my book and I was so excited and I got impatient and I didn't want to wait.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go through the process of getting an agent and submitting it to publishers. So I went with the self-publishing route because I didn't want to spend years waiting to hold my book baby.
Yeah,
You know?
I understand.
Yeah.
Do you think you would try to do the traditional publishing route at some point?
You know, I would consider it, but I really like to have kind of control over my choices and even over my publishing timeline.
Yeah.
So I would consider it for sure.
Sure. Now that you get your feet wet and you know what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about, is it Vellum? Okay. What is Vellum?
It's an ebook formatting software.
Okay. And so how did you get connected with them?
Well, for a while, it was kind of considered the best and maybe the only option to use to format ebooks. The thing about Vellum is it's only available on MacBooks.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that's the choice that the program made. I don't have a MacBook, and I am not very tech savvy. But thanks to my writing group, I got connected with a now good friend in the publishing world, and I hired her to format my books in Vellum and make them look beautiful on the inside. I discovered,
That's a great idea. That's very savvy.
yeah, I discovered that a lot of things in publishing is kind of like a DIY project around your house. You have to decide what you're comfortable tackling and learning to do and what you need to pay a professional for. Like, can I learn to wallpaper? Do I want to do that? Am I going to try plumbing? Like, absolutely not.
Right.
At some point, I think I might try to learn Vellum or formatting software. Like, I could probably learn to wallpaper. I'm never going to tackle plumbing.
I understand.
You know, so for future projects, I think I might try to learn some formatting softwares. But at the time, I was just totally overwhelmed with so many of the technology aspects of it. Like, I've mastered Google Docs, but I'm still, and I've learned more and more things about like web design and newsletters and some other author tools. But when I was first starting out, I was just overwhelmed by some of the technology aspects. So yeah, I paid someone else to learn to do those things for me.
Oh, I think that's fantastic because you're a mom and you're a wife and mom. In addition to this, do you have a day job?
I do. I work full time at a school.
So yeah, I think that was probably a very, very good thing to do. I support it.
Thanks.
So, and what about Gold Knox Designs? How did you discover this resource?
So yeah, that is the name of my cover designer. The same publishing friend recommended a few different cover designers that they had worked with. And I looked at all those portfolios and I kind of thought about what cover style I wanted. I'm a huge fan of the cartoon kind of style, like the artistic drawn characters, especially for low spice romances. And so after looking at all the portfolios of the different designers, I contacted this designer. Gold Knox Designs is the name of her business. And she has been amazing to work with. I think maybe getting a cover designed for my books is my favorite part of the process. I wait till the book is done, at least the first draft, and then I say, okay, like, here's the elements that I've got, like, work your magic, come on. And she usually comes up with maybe 3 or 4 kind of options, and then we can swap out different things. But it is so fun to see things come to life and have a beautiful cover. And this is maybe kind of extra, but I have prints of all of the covers hanging in my office.
I always thought I would do the same thing if I was ever a novelist. I mean, you see that, I've seen that in like movies.
Right?
I think it's cool. I love it.
I mean, like, sometimes I just sit and look at them like, oh my gosh,
well,
those are my books.
You created these people in this world. So
yeah.
It's like looking at pictures of your babies.
Exactly. My book babies.
Yeah. I think it's just fine. So I see the book was edited by Kelly Siskind. Is she local?
Sadly, she is not. She lives in British Columbia.
Oh,
I know.
She is not local.
We've never met in person. Although I would love to meet her and give her a hug because she is amazing. She was another recommendation through a friend. I got a couple editor recommendations from writer friends, and I did a test edit of my first chapter with like the couple people that I had narrowed it down to. And that was a really great decision for me because it helped me figure out who was really going to be a good fit for my needs. I was really nervous about editing because you polish and polish and polish and polish and polish, but then it's like, it's so nerve-wracking to think, okay, I'm going to pay someone to point out all my flaws. And I want it to be as good as humanly possible. But it was still, it felt very vulnerable. And so I did a test edit of the first chapter with 2 different editors, and Kelly just really put me at ease and just did a really good job of pointing out things that she really liked, along with giving me really good suggestions for things that I could change to make things stronger. And so just her style really fit me and really made me feel kind of encouraged and energized to like, oh, I can fix this and make this better, instead of just kind of saying like, oh, this isn't good, or this needs fixed, without maybe giving insight into how one would fix it, and kind of leaving me feeling like, oh, it's just a mess, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed working with her.
So you've mentioned a couple of times writer friends. Is this all related to that book group that was online, or is this different parts of your life?
It started out that way, and now I actually have a local in-person writers group too, which is really cool.
Okay, that you are part of here in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is that writers group at?
It's funny. It actually originated at a restaurant that we all kind of ended up going to.
Okay. Can anybody join it, or is it open to other local authors?
As far as I know, it's very casual.
Okay. How do people get information about that?
I don't really, I'm not comfortable giving out like the person's name who's in charge of it.
Sure.
But it was just kind of a group of people like who we were just kind of chatting at the restaurant one day, and said,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
we're all kind of interested in writing. You know, maybe we could get together and kind of share stories and
Okay.
and swap ideas and things like that. So I know there are a couple of more formal writers groups in Fort Wayne. I know the library
Yes.
has a couple, if I
The
can
library
plug
does.
that for you guys.
Yes.
I know there's a couple of bookstores that have a couple as well. So it's funny how those things kind of develop organically.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to mention your headshot as well, because it professionally done. So who did you use for that?
Yeah, the photographer's name is Jen Mosier. I actually just Googled photographers in Fort Wayne. I was looking for someone with a little more casual style. I didn't necessarily want a like business headshot. As a writer, I wanted something that was a little less like suit and tie. And so I looked for people who did like even like senior pictures and family portraits, just someone who had a little more of that experience. And I just really liked the stuff I saw on her website. And this is so Fort Wayne. Like, it turned out we had mutual friends because of course you do.
Yeah, that's right.
And so she was lovely to work with and really put me at ease. And I really liked the way the pictures turned out. I felt like it really looked like me.
Yes, I agree. It's great. Okay. So I have to ask, how did you come up with the titles for your books?
Okay, I am notoriously bad at titling things, and my writers group would definitely attest to that. They would read things and they would be like, this is a great story, but your title is terrible. So when I came up with the idea for the first book, I decided right away that it was going to be a series of 4 interconnected standalones, and I titled them all right away, so that they would all kind of have like a parallel title thing going on, and that I didn't have to worry about it. I had 4 of them all done. So any other books, I'm in trouble. Although I do think using sports references might kind of help and give me at least some jumping off points. So I've got some options there, but at least I had 4 of them all done out of the gate.
Absolutely. So are there 4 in the series then?
There's another one coming. Yes.
Oh, are we allowed to know the title of that one?
Yeah. I'll give you some teases about that.
Oh,
It
okay.
is called Breaking the Ice.
Oh, that's a great title.
Oh, thank you.
When can we expect that one?
If all goes according to plan, that one will be summer 2026.
Okay. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to write the books, each like individual books?
Yeah. So the first book I wrote in 4 months. It just kind of poured out. But then I spent about 8 months editing it. So the editing process took a little bit longer. The second book, Making the Play, it took me about 8 months to write. It kind of was a little bit harder in that process, but then about 4 months to edit. So the editing process was a little faster. And then my third book was a little more balanced, about 4 months to write, 4 months to edit. And then I just spent a little bit longer kind of on the formatting and the promoting time. So maybe I got better. I don't know. But
Has it
Either way, I spend about a year on the kind of writing and editing process.
Has it gotten easier to write the books?
No. The third one was maybe my favorite to write in that I had the most fun with it, though.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all fun, but yeah. Some things are hard, some things are easy. But I like it. I like all of it.
Well, you've done 4 of them, or you're working on the 4th, so you wouldn't keep going if you weren't enjoying yourself some ways,
Exactly.
right?
Yes. Yes, for sure.
So was there any part of the writing and publishing process you didn't care for?
I would say I like drafting. Like the first draft is very exciting. But editing is a little bit harder because I think every writer wants to think that their first draft is going to be perfect. Like, everybody has to do some edits except for me, except maybe I've finally written the most perfect first draft ever.
Right.
And that's not how it works. And it's always a little bit sad when you have that moment when you realize it. I also mentioned that I'm not very techy. So I've been very much stretched and had to grow in that area and expand some of my computer skills. So, but that's been good. But marketing is very difficult.
Okay.
Because you think you only have to be good at writing and people will just find your books. And sadly, that's not how it works.
Yeah, you got to put them out there, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything that surprised you as a result of writing the books?
You know what? I was actually surprised how supported I was, both by friends and family and by people that I met more recently. I talked about my local writers group. So I connected with people that I may never have met otherwise. It's broadened my world in the best way. I've met friends online and in person that I may never have met otherwise. I've just become part of a community that I don't think I ever would have known. I would have missed out on so much if I hadn't taken the plunge and started writing.
Have you gotten to do anything super cool because of writing the books?
I got to do a couple book signings here locally, and that was just, a crazy wild experience. Like I've seen my books on the shelf in bookstores, and I took my kids with me, and I was like, look, there's my book. And it was so neat to get to show that to them and just so that's wild to sign my book for people and for people to say, I saw that you were going to be here and I wanted to come meet you.
That is surreal.
Wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So what advice would you give someone working on their first book?
I would just say, don't give up. Keep going, do it. I read a statistic that 80% of people say they want to write a book, but only 3% of people
Believe it.
actually finish it. So defy the odds. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's next for you?
Okay, well, I said that I'm working on my 4th book. It's called Breaking the Ice. And each one of my books have been about a different roommate that we kind of started out with. So Breaking the Ice is about the 4th roommate. His name is Evan. So it's his story. Can I tell you about some of the tropes in it?
Yeah, please.
I'm a huge fan of romance tropes.
Please.
Oh, my word.
Oh, romance is my bread and butter.
Oh, yay. Okay, so this one is jock tutor, which is really fun. So Evan is the jock, and his tutor is the coach's daughter, which is a little bit forbidden. And then we have accidentally married, which is wild. But then there's a lot of forced proximity to the degree that they can't escape each other. And so I'm having a blast writing it. And like I said, if everything works out like I hope it will, it should come out next summer.
Okay, Breaking the Ice. I'm writing this down. I'm going to add it to my to-read list.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to move into some fun get to know the author questions.
Okay.
So what's your favorite place to visit on your time off?
All right. That's a hard one for me. I'm a big history buff.
Oh, okay.
A few years ago, we got to visit London, and that was probably my favorite place that we've been. It was just so cool to see all these historic sites, like right next to these modern, amazing architectural marvels. In fact, in my third book, in Facing the Line, one of my characters really wants to visit London, and I think that's maybe because I liked it so much. Like, I wrote that for her. Yeah. So I think I kind of need to write an epilogue where we actually get to see her do that, just because it's such a cool city.
Yeah. Revisit that character.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So what is the number one travel destination on your bucket list, and have you been able to go there? Maybe it was London.
Okay. I'm going to kind of cheat with this question.
Okay.
All right, so I told you that I'm a baseball fan. And so one of my goals, and this is such a nerd goal, but one of my goals is to visit all 30 MLB stadiums. So that's not one travel destination, that's 30. So far I'm at 12, which means...
You made a dent.
Yes, which means I still have, 18 to go? Yeah. And we've done the easy ones in the middle, close to where we live. So I basically still have all the East Coast and all the West Coast teams to visit. But I really enjoy visiting a city. And so, like, we'll go to a baseball game, and then we'll kind of do another, like, cool destination spot in the city. Yeah. So, like, when we went to Cleveland, right, we saw a baseball game, but then, like, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something like that. So it's kind of a neat way to experience kind of the culture of a city. So we really are really big sports fans at my house. But baseball and hockey are our number one and number two.
Do you, so far out of the 12 stadiums that you visited, do you have one that you really appreciated?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, so Wrigley Field will always be the number one.
Yeah.
The fun thing is
that is a neat place.
Oh my word, yes. But the fun thing is there are some that I didn't think I would like, and I did, and because I thought some rivalries there, but I actually like.
Yeah, going to a White Sox game, was that like?
Oh, it was terrible. But I shouldn't admit that. But I actually.
No, I understand. You're a Cubs fan. I mean, you went to a White Sox game.
But here's the thing: I had so much fun in St. Louis because
I've been to that stadium.
Like the Cardinals fans got baseball, and we all came together because we loved that, and also the Cubs won.
Now that you've got me thinking of it, I've been to 4 of them. I've been to 4 stadiums. Yeah, I've been to the one. I guess the coolest one would be the LA Dodgers. I've been to that stadium.
I haven't been to that one yet.
It's neat.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's really neat. Okay, so if you could spend the day with another popular author, who would you pick?
Oh, that one's really hard because I have so many online
list more than
friends.
Yeah,
sure. like I said, I want to give my editor a big hug and my cover designer. But popular author, I think I'm gonna pick Sarah Adams. Right, her books are just a warm hug, and reading them, I always feel like she just wrote them for me, and she just must know me and see me. And I think everyone feels that way when they read them because she just makes her characters so relatable. And I would like to pick her brain and kind of learn her secrets. She also just seems like she'd be really lovely and encouraging. So, so that's who I am picking there.
Okay. So do you celebrate when you finish a book?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it's as simple as a glass of wine or a meal out. Other times I bought myself a new coffee mug.
I do that.
But absolutely. I think that it is an occasion worth celebrating.
Set off fireworks in the backyard.
Yes.
Something big.
Absolutely.
I love it. Okay. So one last question. How can fans reach you?
I have a website. It is not very impressive because, as I said, I'm not very techie.
Okay.
But it is adlynnwrites.com. And you can sign up for my newsletter there, which I send out maybe one a month. There's not a lot of spam happening there. Don't worry about that. But anytime I have book news, I do try to send out a newsletter. I'm pretty active on my Instagram page. That probably gets updated once a week or more often than that.
Okay.
That one is author_AD Lynn. And there's links to all those things on the website.
Okay.
I don't think I have any other social media that I update. If I do, I've forgotten, and so that's not terrible.
Avoid those.
Yeah, it's not very reliable.
We'll stick with Instagram and the website, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Audrey, thank you so much for joining us on Pages and Voices today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a great time. It was so fun to meet you.
Yeah, it's lots of fun to get to chat and get to know you better. And thank you to those who listened in. Stay tuned for more authors on Pages and Voices. I'm your host, Meg Bell. Until next time. Thank you for joining us on Pages and Voices, a source for local authors and their stories. From the studios of Access Fort Wayne at the Allen County Public Library in downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana, I'm your host, Meg Bell. A special thank you to Kay Gregg for her work engineering and editing this episode. We've explored fascinating stories and insightful discussions today, but our journey doesn't end here. Find more episodes of Pages and Voices wherever you listen to podcasts. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations with the area's authors and their insights into the written word. Until next time, keep turning the pages, and we look forward to welcoming you back soon.